Every morning, billions of people reach for the same solution: coffee or tea or energy drinks. Something to jolt the system awake, something to force energy into a tired body. But what if I told you there's a culture where millions wake up every single day with zero? Caffeine, where people have steady, calm energy from sunrise to sunset without a single cup. Welcome to Japan. Not the neon-lit Tokyo you see on Instagram, the other Japan, the one where farmers rise at 4 a.m., where monks meditate before dawn, where 90-year-old grandmothers tend gardens all morning. They don't drink coffee, they don't need it, and in this video, I'll show you exactly why and share the 5 ancient rituals they use instead. But first, let's be honest about what coffee really does. Coffee doesn't create energy, it borrows it. Caffeine blocks adenosine, the chemical that makes you feel tired. You're not getting energy, you're just delaying the fatigue. And when it wears off, the adenosine hits you all at once. The crash, the headache, the need for another cup. This is the coffee trap. You drink coffee to wake up. You crash, you drink more coffee. You can't sleep, you're tired in the morning, so you drink coffee. It's a cycle that millions are trapped in. But in traditional Japanese culture, they never join this cycle. They develop something better. Today, I'll share the 5 rituals that replace coffee in traditional Japanese life. These aren't trendy hacks. They're practices refined over centuries by farmers, by monks, by grandmothers who passed them down through generations. Ritual 1, the warm water ceremony. Ritual 2, facing the sun. Ritual 3, the breath of fire. Ritual 4, the wisdom bowl. Ritual 5, the cold finish. Let's begin with the first ritual, and it's so simple, you might dismiss it, but in Japan, this single practice is considered the foundation of morning health. It's called Sayu, warm water. Not coffee, not tea, just water. Heat it gently, sip slowly. To understand why, let's visit a farmhouse in rural Japan. It's for 30 a.m., still dark. A farmer in her 70s has been awake for 30 minutes already. She hasn't reached for anything. She's just been present. Now, she walks to the kitchen, not for caffeine, for water. She fills an iron kettle, the same one her mother used, and her grandmother before that. She places it on the stove. No rush. She listens to the water begin to warm. In traditional Japanese homes, this morning sound is as common as birdsong, the gentle bubbling of water for Sayu. The water must be specific, not boiling, that's too harsh, not room temperature, that's too shocking. Warm, about body temperature, or slightly warmer. The Japanese believe cold water shocks the digestive system. Hot water damages delicate tissues. But warm water, it awakens without assaulting. She pours the warm water into a simple ceramic cup, no handle. She cups it in both hands, feeling the warmth transfer to her palms. This isn't just drinking, it's a ritual. The warmth travels from the cup to her hands, from her hands through her body. She's waking up from the inside. The first sip is slow, deliberate. She doesn't gulp. In Japanese tradition, you take 50 sips per cup of Sayu. 50, each sip carried by awareness. The warm water moves down, gently stimulating peristal system muscle contractions that move waste through your system. This is the genius of Sayu. After sleep, your digestive system is dormant. Coffee shocks it awake like splashing cold water on someone sleeping. But warm water, it's like gently shaking someone's shoulder. Wake up, it says, but no rush. The digestive system activates gradually, naturally. Think about this. You just slept 7 to 8 hours without drinking anything. You're dehydrated. Coffee is a diuretic, it makes you lose more water. So your first morning drink is actually making dehydration. Worse, Sayu hydrates, pure, simple hydration that your cells have been waiting for all night. In traditional Japanese medicine, Sayu does something else. It's believed to balance what they call high, internal coldness. When your core is cold, organs function poorly, digestion slows, energy drops. Warm water in the morning warms the core, allowing everything to function optimally. After finishing her cup, the farmer waits. In Japan, there's an understanding. After Sayu, you wait 20 minutes before eating. This allows the water to fully absorb, to complete its cleansing work, to prepare the system for food. 20 minutes of quiet, of presence, of gradual awakening. So ritual 1, Sayu, warm water. Sip slowly, both hands around the cup, 50 sips, 20 minutes of patience, no caffeine, just hydration and gentle awakening. And this single practice sets the foundation for everything that follows. Which brings us to ritual 2, and this one requires you to step outside. In Japan, they don't just see the sunrise, they receive it. This practice is called nikkyokujir, sunlight bathing, and it might be the most powerful energy tool you've never tried. Let's travel to a Buddhist temple in Kyoto. The monk has already completed Sayu. Now, as the first light appears, he slides open the wooden doors. The temple faces east, always east. For thousands of years, Japanese architecture has honored the rising sun. He steps onto the wooden inga with a veranda that wraps around traditional buildings. He faces east, hands relaxed at his sides, eyes open but soft. He doesn't look directly at the sun. He receives its light. He lets it wash over his face, his chest, his whole body. Now here's what modern science has discovered about this ancient practice. Morning sunlight, specifically the blue wavelength light in the first hour after dawn. Hits receptors in your eyes that aren't for vision, they're for your circadian system. This light tells your brain, day has begun. Release cortisol, wake up fully. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but morning cortisol is good cortisol. It's your natural energy. It's what coffee tries to fake. When morning sunlight hits your eyes, your brain releases just the right amount of cortisol to give you alertness for hours. No crash follows, because this is how your body is designed to wake. Back to our farmer. She doesn't know the neuroscience. She just knows that after 70 years of rising with the sun, her body knows when to be awake. She walks into her fields. While the light is still golden and soft, she doesn't work immediately. She just stands there, receiving. Here's the second part of the science. Morning sunlight doesn't just wake you up now. It helps you sleep later. Light exposure in the morning sets a timer in your brain. Approximately 14 to 16 hours later, your body will release melatonin, a sleep hormone. You're not just fixing your morning, you're fixing your entire cycle. How long? In Japan, even busy Tokyo workers practice this. They might not have fields or temple verandas, but they have windows, they have balconies, they have the walk to the train station. 5 minutes of morning sunlight is enough. 5 minutes of facing east, letting that light hit your eyes. Compare this to the coffee drinker. They wake in darkness, stumble to the kitchen, flip on artificial lights, stare at a phone screen, drink coffee. They've replaced nature's wake-up signal with a chemical jolt, and their body never gets the signal it's truly waiting for. Ritual 2, nikkyokujir, sunlight bathing. 5 minutes of morning sun, no sunglasses, no screens. Just you and the light that human beings have woken to for our entire existence. Until about 100 years ago, this isn't spiritual, it's biological, and it works whether you believe in it or not. Now ritual 3, and this one comes from the mountains. From monks who sit under freezing waterfalls. From martial artists who need energy when caffeine doesn't exist. It's called ibuki breathing, and it might be the fastest way to generate natural energy you'll ever learn. Picture this. A monk in white robes stands under a waterfall. The water is near freezing. It's 5 a.m. Most people would be unconscious from the shock, but he's calm, centered. He's using ibuki, a specific breathing pattern that generates internal heat and mental clarity. Ibuki comes from the Yamabushi mountain ascetics, who believe that true energy comes from within, not from stimulants. They developed breathing techniques that would later influence everything from Zen meditation to martial arts, and you can do it in your living room. Here's how ibuki works. You inhale slowly through your nose for seconds. You hold for seconds, but the exhalation is different. It's sharp, powerful, through the mouth, like blowing out a candle, but sustained. 8 seconds of controlled exhalation, engaging your core. Why does this create energy? When you exhale slowly with control, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. But the sharp inhalation and engagement also activates sympathetic response. You're not sedating or stimulating. You're balancing, and balance is where true energy lives. Here's what happens in your blood. Most people breathe shallowly, especially in the morning. They use only the top portion of their lungs. Ibuki forces air into the lower lungs, where oxygen exchange is most efficient. Your blood oxygen increases, your cells get fuel. You feel awake naturally. Our monk, after his waterfall meditation, returns to the temple. He sits on a tatami mat. He's already been awake for hours. But he does ibuki again. 5 rounds, 3 minutes total. His eyes are clear. His posture is erect but relaxed. He hasn't eaten yet. No caffeine, just breath. Now, you don't need a waterfall. A Tokyo businessman I interviewed does ibuki on his train commute. Eyes closed. Nobody notices. 3 minutes of controlled breathing between stations. He told me, coffee makes me jittery before meetings. This makes me present. There's a difference. This is crucial. Coffee creates alertness and jittery, sometimes anxious awareness. Ibuki creates energy calm, sustainable fuel for whatever comes next. Alertness is borrowed. Energy is generated. One is a loan with interest. The other is a harvest from your own body. You don't need 30 minutes. You don't need a special room. 3 minutes. 5 rounds of ibuki. Inhale for seconds. Hold for seconds. Exhale 8 seconds. That's it. By the 5th round, notice how you feel. Lighter. More present. More awake without the edge. Ritual 3. Ibuki breathing. From mountain monks to your morning. 3 minutes of controlled breath that tells your nervous system, we're awake. We're balanced. We're ready. No caffeine required. Just the air that's already around you. Now we come to ritual 4, and this one involves food, but not how you think. In Japan, breakfast isn't just fuel, it's medicine. It's called washoku, traditional Japanese cuisine, and the way they compose their morning meal might explain why they never experienced the 3 p.m. crash. Let's return to our farmer's kitchen. It's now about 6 a.m. She's done her sayu, her sunlight, her morning presence. Now she prepares breakfast. Watch what she puts on the table. Small bowls, many colors, no single large plate dominating everything. A traditional Japanese breakfast includes steamed rice, miso soup, grilled fish, pickled vegetables, and nori seaweed. Sometimes a small omelet, sometimes natto fermented soybeans. 5 to 7 small dishes, each with a specific purpose. Rice provides steady, complex carbohydrates, not the simple carbs of Western breakfast cereal, toast, pastries. Complex carbs release energy slowly over hours. No sugar spike, no insulin crash, just steady glucose to your brain all morning. Miso soup is fermented. Fermentation creates probiotics and enzymes that aid digestion. But more importantly, miso provides umami, the 5th taste that signals protein to your brain. Protein in the morning means amino acids for neurotransmitter production. Dopamine, serotonin, the chemicals of focus and calm. Grilled fish, often salmon or mackerel, provides omega-3 fatty acids. These are essential for brain function. But here's what's interesting. The Japanese don't eat large portions of fish at breakfast. A few ounces, enough for benefit, not so much that digestion drains energy. It's about sufficiency, not abundance. Pickled vegetables, tsukemono, serve multiple purposes. They provide beneficial bacteria for gut health. They stimulate digestion with their slight sourness, and they add color, texture, and variety to the meal. In Japan, they believe you should eat something fermented at every meal. Gut health is energy health. Nori seaweed provides iodine for thyroid function, your body's energy regulator. It also adds minerals often missing in modern diets. A single sheet of nori wrapped around rice gives you nutrients that support your metabolism all day. Now watch what happens to blood sugar on this breakfast versus a typical Western breakfast. Western breakfast, rapid spike, rapid crash by 10 a.m., desperate reach for coffee or snack. Japanese breakfast, gentle rise, steady plateau, slow decline hours later, no crash, no desperate reach. But portion size matters as much as content. Those small bowls aren't just aesthetic. They naturally limit quantity. Harahachi bun me eat until you're 80% full. This Okinawan principle prevents the energy drain of digestion. When you overeat, blood flows to your stomach, away from your brain. You get sleepy. The Japanese avoid this entirely, and they eat slowly, with chopsticks, small bites, each flavor experienced separately. This isn't just cultural, it's physiological. Eating slowly allows your body's fullness signals to reach your brain before you've overeaten. You stay in that 80% zone naturally. Contrast this with coffee and a pastry. Sugar spike, caffeine jolt, crash by mid-morning. Another coffee, another pastry maybe. By 3 p.m., you're exhausted. You blame your workload, but really, you're just experiencing the inevitable result of how you started your day. Ritual 4, the wisdom bowl, a Japanese breakfast of small dishes: rice, miso soup, fish, pickles, seaweed, protein, complex carbs, fermented foods, healthy fats, eaten slowly until 80% full. This is why Japanese grandmothers work in gardens all morning without snacking. Their breakfast actually fuels them. Now the final ritual, the one that seals all the others into place. In Japan, after the warm water, after the sunlight, after the breathing, after the breakfast, there's one more practice. It's called mizugori, the cold finish, and it might be the most invigorating thing you'll ever experience. Picture a martial arts dojo at dawn. Students in white uniforms kneel in a row. The sensei, a man in his 60s with posture like a sword, stands before them. They've already done their breathing. They're warm up. Now comes the part visitors find shocking. At the edge of the dojo sits a wooden bucket filled with water. Well watered, cold, sometimes with ice floating. Each student approaches, one by one. They take a wooden ladle, fill it, and pour the cold water over their left hand. Then right. Then they rinse their mouth. Then the final act, they pour water over their head. The gasp is involuntary, every time, even after years of practice. But watch their faces after. Eyes wide open, cheeks flushed, standing taller. They're not suffering. They're awakening in the deepest, most primal way possible. Here's what's happening. Cold water triggers what's called the mammalian dive reflex. Your blood vessels constrict. Blood rushes to your core, protecting your organs. Your heart rate adjusts. Then, when you step away, vessels dilate. Blood floods back to extremities. It's a cardiovascular reset, a wake-up call to every cell. But there's more. Cold exposure triggers norepinephrine release, a neurotransmitter that increases alertness, focus, and energy. Levels can increase to 100 to 300% after cold water immersion. That's natural energy. No caffeine. Just your own brain chemistry, optimized by cold. And dopamine. Studies show cold exposure increases dopamine for hours, not minutes, hours. Sustained elevation of the motivation chemical. This is why those martial artists aren't reaching for coffee after. Their brains are already producing what coffee tries to simulate. Our farmer doesn't pour buckets over her head, but she has her own version. After breakfast, before work, she walks to the well. She splashes cold water on her face 3 times, then her arms, then her neck. It closes the pores, she says. It tells the body, day has truly begun. At the temple, the monk does something similar. After meditation, he goes to the Temazuya, the purification fountain. He pours cold water over his left hand. Right hand rinses his mouth. In Shinto tradition, this washes away not just physical dirt, but spiritual heaviness. But the monks will tell you, it also just makes you feel alive. You don't need a bucket. You don't need a well. A cold shower works. Or even just cold water splashed on your face and forearms. The key is the contrast. Warm water soothes. Cold water awakens. After the gentleness of the other rituals, this final shock seals your alertness for hours. Notice the sequence. Warm water first, gentle awakening. Sunlight, biological signaling. Breathing, internal energy generation. Breakfast, sustained fuel. Then cold, the final exclamation point. Each ritual builds on the last. Together, they're more powerful than any single practice. Ritual 5. Mizugori, the cold finish. Cold water on hands, face, or full body. A shock that becomes a signal. A practice that tells every cell, we're fully awake now. Let's begin. No caffeine needed. Just water and courage. So let's review the 5 rituals. 1. Sayu warm water, 50 sips, 20 minutes of patience. 2. Nekayoki morning sunlight, 5 minutes facing east. 3. Eboki controlled breathing, 3 minutes of for 8 pattern. 4. Washoku, the wisdom bowl, small dishes, eaten slowly to 80% full. 5. Mizugori cold finish, water that shocks you awake. Let's watch our farmer one more time. She's now in her garden, 8 a.m. She's been awake for 4 hours. She hasn't eaten much, just her small breakfast. She hasn't had any caffeine, yet she's bending, lifting, weeding, carrying. Steady energy, no tremor in her hands, no desperate desire for a snack. At the temple, it's now noon. The monk has been teaching, chanting, working. He'll eat his main meal now, not breakfast. He hasn't crashed, hasn't reached for anything. His energy is like a candle, not a firework. Constant. Reliable, undramatic. And the Tokyo businessman? It's 3 p.m. the time when most offices fill with coffee smells and candy wrappers. He's in a meeting, presenting. Clear. Focused. He told me, my colleagues think I have some secret. I do, but it's not a pill or a powder. It's just how I start my day. What these 5 rituals do, collectively, is work with your biology instead of against it. hydration instead of dehydration, light signaling instead of chemical forcing, oxygenation instead of stimulation, steady fuel instead of spikes and crashes, nervous system balance instead of adrenal exhaustion. Coffee isn't evil. In Japan, many people drink coffee later in the day as a pleasure, not a necessity. The difference is dependency. In the West, coffee is often the only way people can start their day. In Japan, it's an optional addition to a foundation that already provides real energy. If you're dependent on coffee now, can you just stop? Probably not easily. Headaches, fatigue, irritability. But you can add these rituals first. Do them before your coffee. Let them build your foundation. Then, gradually, reduce the coffee. Your body won't miss what it no longer needs. Tomorrow morning, try just one. Just the warm water. See how it feels. Or just step outside for 5 minutes of sun. Or just do 3 minutes of breathing. You don't need to transform everything at once. Ancient wisdom wasn't built in a day. Neither is new energy. Remember, these rituals emerged from a culture that valued prevention over treatment, balance over intensity, consistency over heroics. Japanese farmers don't have more willpower than you. They just have different habits. Habits shaped by centuries of understanding how human bodies actually work. You don't need to move to Japan. You don't need to become a monk. You don't need to eat only Japanese food. These principles are universal. Hydrate before you stimulate. Seek light before you seek stimulation. Breathe before you consume. Eat for sustained energy, not quick pleasure. Use contrast to awaken fully. So here's my invitation. For the next 7 days, try the first ritual. Just the warm water. Notice how you feel. Notice if your coffee craving changes. Notice if your energy feels different by mid-morning. Then, if it works, add another. Let your body tell you what it needs. The Japanese have a saying, Ishoku Digen, food and medicine have the same origin. How you start your day is medicine, or it's poison. Coffee isn't poison, but dependency, that's a kind of sickness. And these 5 rituals are the cure. Before I go, I want to thank the farmer in Nagano who first showed me Sayu, the monk in Kyoto who taught me Ibuki, the martial artist in Tokyo who demonstrated Mizugori. They shared their traditions openly, trusting that ancient wisdom deserves to travel. Tomorrow morning, the sun will rise again. It always does. You can greet it with a chemical crutch, or you can greet it with practices that have sustained human beings for thousands of years. The choice is yours. But now you know there is a choice. If this video sparks something in you, please share it with someone trapped in the coffee cycle. And let me know in the comments, which of these 5 rituals are you most curious to try? I read every comment. Your story has become part of this community. Until next time, remember the Japanese morning, warm water, golden light, deep breath, simple food, cold finish, Atadakamasu receive with gratitude. Gochusasama Deshita honor what nourishes you. And may your mornings be filled with energy that's truly yours.